There is no Wi-Fi, but I'm hotspotting. Okay, live stream is started. Good morning, RJ.
Morning. It's an early meeting for you.
Yeah, always, man. I swear. I don't know. Well, I guess you're a morning person anyway. But, dude, I would sleep until 11 every day and stay up till 3. That would be my schedule.
Oh man. Once like 9 o'clock at night comes, I get really tired.
Well, you got goats. They need milk. They need milk in the morning.
That's not my job.
Yeah. I'm still like putting together my notes for the week. Like, what did I do? I don't remember.
No wonder you guys didn't say so much. You just make a list of what you did.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's so easy for you. It's just all on GitHub.
It's true.
Good morning, Lorelai. Oh, we got Luke and Adam too. It's just a party here. Everyone's so prompt. We'll have to be careful with that. Oh, you have headphones on? I'll go that route. Okay, and so you'll just unmute? Yeah. Let's see. So I think we can wait a little bit longer for more people. Maybe this will be it, huh? Fingers crossed. Although, no, I think all the unicorns in Barcelona probably still need to sign on. But we don't need to wait for them. I think we can just get started. Does anyone want to start with what they did this week? Okay, let me.
All right. This week I did quite a bit of traveling, lots of decentral work, a lot of milestone stuff, and just lots of communication, logistics, planning of Switzerland, and that's probably a lot more, but that's the gist of it. I'll pass it on to Lorelai.
Hey. Yeah, lots of travel and family time this week. I worked a lot on this milestone tutorial, which is now on the wiki, but the images are glitching out. And yeah, did the triple check yesterday. That was a little bit exciting this week. Had to do a lot of problem solving there. And yeah, I'll pass it to Oz. You ready to say what you did this week?
Yeah, so this week I did what? I reached out to Exit 7 and tried to, for FCAN, and tried to get them up to speed with the backend calls to the blockchain. So I think that happened more or less, and that was it for me. Move it over to whoever hasn't spoken yet. Oh, RJ, have you talked?
No. What did I do? I deployed a new environment, getting ready for release, and made some kind of changes, last minute changes to the contracts to remove all the governance token stuff, and then fix some various bugs in the DApp and feathers and whatnot. Adam.
Hey everybody! This week I came out with another draft of the milestone reporting piece that I was working on. Have a couple more edits now that I got some comments back on that that I'm going to make. Wrote up some social media posts to get the ball rolling on the next piece I'm going to work on, which is about buying into cryptocurrency and what they call the last mile, which is going from crypto to fiat for people who aren't trying to hold Ether indefinitely. Linked up sort of, outside of work with a guy from the Ethereum Foundation grants program. So it was interesting talking to him, seeing what their kind of interests are in this space. And yeah, just super busy preparing for a trip that I'm going to be taking. So I guess back to Griff.
Sorry. Yeah, so this week I did lots of work on the Argon DAC, just kind of like scoping it out, trying to make a plan, working with Lynn's on all the logistics, mostly just Lynn's doing it though. And then did just keeping the conversation going in open source Block Explorer community, which is just starting to get out of control. It's growing a lot, and so that's really cool. Actually finished the identity white paper business plan. We had a debate kind of on whether or not we should go for grants or like start more of a service-oriented sustainable business model, and I think both and was the answer there. And did lots of Burning Man stuff. Finally finished out last year's accounting from the old DApp. We actually used the POC DApp a lot this weekend, so that's funny, but it worked out. And unstoppable code, let's see, and worked with Parker and Voigt on the last mile stuff. Talked with Bowen about all the security plans and just kind of still working on that document. Started a new document for experimental unicorn campaign, and also talked with Lynn's about a reward DAO campaign and just how we're going to do all these things. There's also had some calls. There was a call with Status. They want to do an advocate program, which is kind of similar to social coding. So trying to coordinate, trying to bring those two together. And also found someone who wants to take over Scaling Now called Thunder. Talked with them and started researching their project. Let's see, did Wojtek just join?
Yeah, hi. I'll be distracted packing. But basically what I did last week, right?
Yep.
I did some coding, even though right now I can't recall actually. Merged a few pull requests, clean up the rest. And I've been preparing 3 sets of different presentations for the next 2 weeks. And yeah, I guess that's it. Did some UI stuff. And since I've just joined, I don't know who didn't go.
You're the last. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's everyone. So let's jump into the meeting. Check in. I am not too distracted, but and excited to see what we talk about on the fireside chat, or if there's a proposal that comes out. How about Oz?
Hey, not distracted. Yeah, just looking forward to talking to everyone. So I'll move it on to Lorelei.
Hey, yeah, I'm just here with family, trying to stay focused and taking notes. Intentions for the meeting. I'm a little curious about whether or not this 30 ETH loan is going to be discussed. Griff, I was on the same page with you where I thought that was withdrawn, but I don't know what's happening there. Anyways, Lindsay.
Hey guys, no distractions here, fully present. So whatever I can do to support the team is my intention. So I will pass it on to Adam.
Hey everybody, no distractions. Looking forward to a good meeting. Sorry, RJ, have you gone?
No, slightly distracted. Yeah, just curious. See what happens. I don't know if there's any proposals to discuss. Linz?
I think that's everyone. Right? Did Wojtek go?
No, I didn't. Yeah, distracted packing. I might actually leave once I'm done because I have some other tasks to do. But just excited to hear about the fireside chat, especially the Aragon part.
Well, cool. So logistics, no one's new. Everything's pretty easy. We have 3 proposals, and the people who proposed them have either withdrawn. Wojtek has one that's been lingering, and he's going to make proposals for next week. And the other 2 people aren't really here. So unless someone wants to take up one of those proposals, we'll just go straight into fireside chat. There were 3 proposals, and I assume you saw them if you are here in this meeting. So 30th loan, which was mostly withdrawn by Yaler. There's the reinventing, is it safe enough to try? And yeah, those 2, because Wojtek wants to save that next one for next week. Does anyone want to talk about those? Okay, cool. So yeah, I have some other things to talk about that I think would be fun. It sounds like the Aragon DAC meetup was already asked for, so maybe I could just like spiel my thoughts on that. Although I already talked about it yesterday with the DAP team, so it might be a little bit of a repeat. But well, maybe Linz, you want to go into logistics on that? Oh, so basically, like, we get into, I just need you to confirm me. We get into Viennese or whatever on the 3rd. And then we get, and I'm going to get there on the 4th, but people can get there on the 3rd. And then stay there until 6 in the morning, and then we will end up with a ride to Zug, where Jordy has a place. There is room for 6 people, so we'll have to like figure out that. And then in Zug on the 7th, Vitalik is speaking, but it's a $50 ticket, so you got to buy that. He's also speaking at some conference on the 6th that I'm not going to. It's like a $500 ticket, and it's kind of seems more businessy. And then, yeah, I think that's the plan. And then I also created a document about the Aragon DAC, which I can share here. Let's see. And just so everyone is like on the same page, it's still being reviewed by everybody. It's not anywhere near final. So, but yeah, that's kind of the plan. Oh, and then the other piece is that, you know, it's kind of like if you want to come, you kind of have to like make sure that you can cover your costs, because GovCircle is not covering anything. The DAC might, the Aragon DAC will probably cover it, assuming it exists in the future, but that's not 100% going to happen. So it is a risk. Yeah.
Just so there's no confusion about getting to Vaisonaz, it happens to be a really easy train ride. It is 2 hours, but during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, it's nonstop from Geneva, and on weekends it has one stop. You have to switch trains. So there's not that many people on this call probably going, Wojtek and RJ and Griff, so Lorelai. I guess that is everybody on the call pretty much. But if you guys need any help with the logistics or planning of it or what train, just please reach out, because it's not multiple stops or 4 hours long. It's pretty nice and easy and should be beautiful. So that's all.
Any questions on Aragon, or what are you guys thinking?
Hey, does this have anything to do, or will the planning app that Quasia and other people kind of put forth, will this have anything to do with that?
I don't think so. I mean, we might try to bring some of those people, because they have such experience with Aragon, into our DAC to be like collaborating with us. But that's a NEST grant proposal that already has funding, and they already have like a system in place. So other than stealing people from that thing, I don't think so.
Is Arthur going to be there?
He's like 70%.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna be there. Anything else? Any other ideas about Aragon that you guys want to talk about? No? Okay, cool. Well, so I have another one. I thought, Wojtek, are you sure you didn't have something to say about Aragon? Or a question?
No, not really. Thanks.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I got another document that's kind of crazy that I have barely started. In fact, Lynn's helped me start it. But basically, Unicorn Basic Income is, I was thinking that we can make this like a campaign on its own that we would fund. And this is kind of like jiving off of Satya's idea, but pretty much I want to lower Unicorn Basic Income, but then make it way easier for people to make money on top of it. So because really 600 a week is more than basic income in most countries. Like, sure, yeah, Switzerland and parts of Europe and the US and different countries, it's like, that's not that much money. But for most countries, that is a shit ton of money. So what I was thinking is actually making it more of a basic income, and but then also giving everybody that same amount and saying that they have to give it to other milestones, right? So every unicorn gets this amount just given to them, and then they get to have basically their own campaign where they support other projects that using the DApp. So this is off of Satya's idea. So the idea would be that everyone makes milestones for other things that they want to do or that they're thinking about doing. They don't have to be like the super explanatory milestones. It could just be like, you know, Kai likes to do web admin, or he's doing web admin, and for him to keep maintaining that, you know, he needs like an extra 200 a week or something, right? Maybe that's a bad example, but something like that. And so he could have a milestone that people would decide whether or not they want him in that web admin, right? People can make comments in it, and we start really trying to play with the DApp with this. And then on top of that, to be a unicorn, you'd have to like fulfill these guidelines, right? So Lorelai's making a milestone template. Maybe we make everyone read that, right? Maybe they need to read our governance meeting template and attend a governance meeting. Maybe they need to, and maybe it needs to. Maybe we have a unicorn meeting, you know, to let people in. Maybe we have like Lansky has his advice process, which is really cool. There's one of Yaler's friends teaches nonviolent communication classes. Maybe we have to, you know, maybe there's certain things that we want to say, like to be a Give It Unicorn, you have to fulfill these requirements, you know, and you have to be up to speed on these things. So, and like maybe they have to create a role, this kind of thing. So I'm just kind of brainstorming on that. And I was wondering if you guys had any ideas or thoughts on this.
Hey, cool ideas. I'm wondering if since this is like a very casual gov meeting, if someone would mind just like taking over notes if they need to be taken, because I would like to just go spend time with my family since I'm here. Does anyone want?
Yeah, I can take them.
Okay, thank you. Did you see the link? Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye, Lorelai. Well, does anyone have any thoughts on the unicorn thing?
So each, like, I guess the money to give away to other campaigns or whatever, that would be like rough. That would be given. So like each person who was receiving income, basic income, would have a campaign as well, and then that money would be go directly to that campaign.
Yeah. So they would have it. So the way I'd imagine it is they'd have a milestone in the unicorn campaign, and then they would have their own campaign that they get to fund projects for. And in their own campaign, they would put their own projects, you know, but as their they wouldn't be able. There would be like some kind of informal thing that if you donate to your own milestone, you're kicked off, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would just be somebody checking it, part of the whoever's running the basic income campaign or whatever, DAC, whatever it is, would be responsible for kind of checking that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where it's all transparent. So, you know, see something, say something,
right.
And I think social pressure, like if it's. You can see where all the donations are going. So like if your campaign donates to your own milestone, you know, you better tell us first and say, oops, otherwise we don't trust you anymore. So
right.
I don't know. Were there any things that you think it would be good for people to have to like read or do before they become a unicorn? Like,
I guess, like, what is the basic, like, what is the entry level of becoming one, right? Like, is it just open to anybody who wants to do it, or is it kind of like maybe slightly like kind of how the process is now for becoming on regular rewards or whatever, but maybe slightly looser.
Yeah, I would say slightly tighter. Like that they have to, there's certain understanding our system, like making sure that they fully do it, and probably like having some kind of role. I mean, just like regular rewards, they have to be doing something. But I think it'd be cool to like kind of have this like special character of Give It people, which we already have, but make it more official, and then also make it obvious that they make it easier for them to create milestones so they can get paid more on top of basic income. And also, this is to address like the imbalance of power that people with money have over where things are going, and so that I feel like with this system that the other unicorns can each, steer things a little bit. If they are like, oh man, I really need RJ to add this feature into the DApp, they could even propose a milestone to RJ's campaign and say, hey, like I want to fund this.
Be a fun experiment.
Yeah, and it'll definitely beta test the DApp.
Hi guys, this is Kai here in Austria.
Move my mouth while you
we are one person now, so good idea. Wait, now I'm being Russian. No, actually, I missed the beginning, but I think I got the concept. I was thinking, what if it was like a unicorn recommendation, where like an existing unicorn has to vote you, has to give you like a vote to say like this person has been doing things and they are a good candidate for becoming a unicorn. How do we feel about that?
Definitely.
I mean, this goes into onboarding, but we should always have like a advice process when onboarding somebody. So it is essentially like we would like to onboard this person. It's a good way to have like a UBI or like have a stamp, so we can say for all people that get onboarded, you start with this, and maybe make the way after that clearer, like how can you evolve or whatever. For example,
something like that. Yeah, I was just thinking like a little bit of association, so that people who are actually doing work with people who are already, you're like kind of showing them the ropes, right? And you're like, oh yeah, this person's like ready to become a unicorn now, I think. So you could give it like a recommendation.
So almost like a sponsor, right?
What? A sponsor. Yeah. Like a sponsor. Yeah, and maybe, this poll also plays into Satya's thing. Maybe if like you as an existing unicorn that has funds, you can start to fund that person, their transition into becoming a unicorn from your own whatever allocation that you have. Playing on Satya's idea of like people actually doing it, like giving each other ETH.
Yeah, well, that's part of being a unicorn. You just came in, but like basically you get your basic income, but then you also get just as much to give to other people.
So whatever you get, you also can give.
Yeah. So exactly. So I was thinking $450 per week is guaranteed income, but then the rest has to come from milestones, and people. You get $450 per week as basic income, and you get $250 to just like dish to other people and for other reasons. And they don't have. It doesn't have to go to unicorns. It can go to anything,
any project. And also, people can. I'm sorry, I'm losing my thought. So basically, comes $450, and then people can get any other amount from other people. There's no cap on how much you can make. It's like if Kai is doing like 3 people's job, maybe he's getting like 300 from each person from their allocation just because of the amount of work he's put in. Yeah,
absolutely. And like RJ, he's doing all this crazy stuff on smart contracts, and he would get a big fat check every week from the DApp campaign, or maybe every month, however they want to do it.
I mean, RJ's pretty lazy. I'm not sure I'm actually going to fund RJ, but
I prefer to sleep on the job.
I mean, he's always sleeping when we're working. That's what I see. But yeah, so I don't know. This is definitely. I put that document on the side in Jitsi, and I assume it's going to take like 2 or 3 weeks to flesh it out, and probably even play with it on the release version of the dApp when that comes out next week. And definitely, if you guys have any ideas, please add it to this document. Right.
I think Oz wanted to say something, right?
I missed it.
So yeah, I was going to say something earlier, but then it was pointless, so I stopped. But then I was curious just now, like what would be the punishment for not putting out the money, or maybe punishment's the wrong word, like disincentive. It's like, let's say a person, they're awarded this money in the campaign to give it out, but then it's like Jordy, he's like super busy or whatever. He's like kind of like forgets about it. I feel like there's a couple of different like experimental options, like maybe like somehow like it's taken away from them, or they get like allocated to somewhere, but somewhere where you wouldn't really want it. Like if you say like, oh, any money that doesn't get spent is going to go to like kids someplace, well then it kind of alleviates the pressure, because you're like, oh wait, I forgot to award that money. Oh well, I went to the kids. Kids are great. But if you like, if it goes someplace where you're like, oh no, I prefer it didn't go there. I would rather have spent it on, being responsible and like giving it to people or staying in touch with people. Anyways, so some sort of disincentive to add to that social pressure or whatever. And then, oh yeah, I really like the idea of having like some requirements for these people. I think everyone does, but like showing up to a governance meeting, I think is a perfect one, because it's easy, accountable. It forces everyone to kind of see that person, at least for those people that attend the governance meeting. I don't know if there could be like a 3-step process. It'd be like, do this one thing, write this one thing, attend a governance meeting, do that other thing. Something that's like easy to like track, and be like, oh yeah, that person's in, assuming they get the other 2 votes or whatever. That's all I wanted to add.
Ooh, what if, I was going to say something kind of random, but what if we made little flare marks on their username, and then when they had the 3 flare marks, we would know that they're officially a unicorn?
That would be cool. We'd have to hack Riot a little bit, but yeah. On that, I actually think it'd be really good to maybe instead of imposing like governance meetings, maybe more just regular stand-up meetings, right? Like maybe like there's we used to do that, the Giveth Daily. Maybe we make it like a bi-weekly thing, like Monday and Wednesday or something like that, and it's just a stand-up meeting where everyone just says what they're working on ish, or if it's just like every Monday, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. All the unicorns have to go to this thing. Maybe they have to go to like 3 out of 4, kind of a thing, or like 6 out of 8 every month. They have to go to 6 every month, and we count it. Something like that. I think that would be cool.
I think like a reverse vesting thing, like you were talking about too, this would be interesting. Kind of like the money decays if you don't use it. It'd be a fun thing to play around with.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just don't get it if they don't use it, right? It's like you get $450 to dish out every week, and if you only dish out 200, well, then you only get 200 the next week.
Isn't that how government agencies run it though? Like if you have a budget and you spend less than your allocated budget, then they take away your budget and de-incentivize.
Which leads to wasted funds, right? Because everybody's just like, well, I'm going to get less now, so I might as well spend it all.
I think the purpose, the way that Griff's saying it though, or at least the way I heard it, is that let's say I get like 300 to myself and then 300 in my campaign, but I don't spend the 300 in my campaign. Let's say I don't spend 100 of it, right? Then next week I only get 200 in my basic income. Like maybe my basic income, the value that I get is somehow tied to how efficiently I'm spending this other money. I don't know about that.
I think a really important thing to like touch on is how are we going to stop collusion? Like what if me and Oz get together and we're like, hey, at the end of the month, like you haven't dished out all your money, dish it to me, and I'll dish you mine. My thing here.
Or even like larger rings of collusion, networks of collusion would be pretty easy to set up and would make it harder to trace. Like if it's not one person and one person trading, but like there are 20 or 100 people involved down the line.
Adam, I'm going to add you to my collusion network channel.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, these are great questions. I imagine that because it's not an open system, that we have a lot less of these issues. It'll be more of there will already be a closed a network of collusion, basically, where unicorns are probably going to give to other unicorns more than outside, is what I would guess, right? To support each other and the projects that we want. But I don't know. I think it's one of those things that you could probably spot if if someone's always giving money to other people, the same people all the time, and they're also always giving money to everyone else. It is transparent. It would be kind of easy to see.
So we need another guard for that, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if that's really an issue if it's like so small scale. Like, sure, that's a big issue if you're trying to scale it up, but if it's like 20 people or whatever that are all, I mean, we all trust each other, right? So it's not, you're not trying to do this in a trustless way necessarily.
I would add though, even for the enclosed version and then also for a public facing version later, there's a danger of over bureaucratizing the process. Like the example that Griff gave earlier, I'm not going to try to come up with another one, but like someone doing web admin, it's not like the sexiest thing, but like it needs to be done. So it will take some figuring out like who's going to pay for it. Because at the end of the day, it has to get paid for. I wonder if it is not going to end up taking a lot more focus and energy from people to have all these funds allocated directly when it's all done in like a P2P way.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why it's definitely going to be like an experiment with using our DApp. I mean, I hope that the end thing is that people are like, wow, this overhead is too hard, and we like work on optimizing the DApp for using, for making it easy to make milestones and making it easy to allocate milestones. So it is kind of like expected that there's going to be overhead, and that it's going to be not something you want to do. And if you don't want to do it, then, then you don't get to steer the campaign. But I guess that's the other value I really see here, is that it makes it really easy for every individual that's a unicorn to actually steer the direction of Giveth. So I guess, and that's another thing, is that maybe we should make it so that these 450 euros have to be for Giveth, not for outside campaigns like helping, GraceAid or something.
For sure. And I'll just say generically, I love the idea of like, I mean, I think that the sort of original concept of UBI is something lower that gets added on top of. So definitely trying to find an architecture that allows for that makes a lot of sense.
And regarding like boring milestones that are necessary, sure, they're not going to get funding in this model, but they're going to get funding by the circle that they are necessary for. Like if it's the DApp circle that requires system admin stuff, then they're the ones that are going to be funding it. Maybe not the like UBI funds will fund it.
From a technical note or a technical solution to the problem that Adam brought up, at some point adding a feature like that would let us more easily view like who's sending to who, like I don't know if there's a view in the DApp or one in the roadmap where I could like look at a user and see every other user, like see it from like user to user as opposed to just user to milestone, like on like a page, like some sort of leaderboardish thing.
It's on a roadmap. It's this kind of a graph view that you showed ages ago. I think even in June or July last year.
Nice, yeah, I love those.
Yeah, Chavi seemed really excited about building that, right? think. Okay, well, that document is out there. If you guys have any ideas, please don't be shy. Just jump in it and add stuff, you know? And I think there's going to be like a 2-week brainstorming period anyway, and probably try to actually make some of this on the DApp and just see logistically how it works. And then, yeah, and then we'll keep going with it. There was another document that Lansky put out that was really fucking awesome that I wanted to highlight here at the very least. I haven't actually been able to read through it because I wanted to do some points, but I haven't finished reading it. So I think, where did he put this? Does anyone else have it?
Yeah, in the com sheet. I saw it last in the com sheet. There's a link.
Yeah,
The link is in the Lumio. If you go to the Lumio of Satya, there's the link, as far as I know.
Lindsay's grabbing it. Yeah. Yeah. I thought this was cool. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Yaler read it, right? Finished reading it. I don't know. Does anyone want to talk about this?
Hey, Lansky here. Can you hear me?
Hey, Lansky!
Yo, I'm not sure if you hear the music. I'm in the taxi right now. It's pretty hectic. I'm going to the airport. I'm super distracted. Sorry, I was super late. But yeah, I think going a bit beyond the documents is, I think the main question for me is, do we need some sort of like, in the holacracy system, they call it the constitution. So do we need some sort of like 5 basic documents that we can all refer to give some clarity on how we work?
Yes, please.
Great. I'm really happy to draft that and to use the advice process to get everybody's opinion on it and try to make something creative among all of us and try to get something that will work for all of us. So it's definitely not ready as of now. Satya had really good comments. Yaler had really good comments. Kay has read it as well, and it's Kai. Sorry. Really good comments as well. I'm going to try to incorporate these and create a Lumio proposal, which is going to be called something like the Giveth Constitution, and we can talk about it later on. I'm very sorry that I can't really be involved right now. I'm in the taxi and going to the airport. It's pretty hectic, but yeah, I'd be happy to do that if you guys want me to.
Yeah, that looks great. It's a great starting point for it. I mean, everything that we're doing, all these experiments are really building this. I mean, if we write a constitution now, we have to commit to changing it and letting it adapt. I mean, probably monthly for now because things are changing so fast. So I think we all need to consider that it's a constant work in progress and it won't be a static piece of paper or any sort of constitution for quite a while. So it's quite an undertaking, but this is an amazing start to it, in my opinion.
Awesome. I will do that, and I will put everything together.
Yeah. I'll continue to support and provide feedback. I mean, the doc was great, and I love the conversation that's happening in there. It's just needs to be distilled now, and we can totally do that together.
Absolutely, yes. It's a very brute draft at the moment.
Yeah, it's on the long side, but I see it's great. Like since the last time I've seen it, lots of changes. So we'll review it here. Like Yaler is here for a few days. We'll review it and come back to you also.
Awesome. Are you guys in Barcelona now?
Yeah, no. Sorry, man.
Awesome. So I'm going to be in Barcelona from the 2nd to the 6th. So if you guys are going to be there, we can talk about it in person.
No, we're gone, man. We're right now in Vienna, and people in Barcelona, but not us.
Yeah, Dap Lion's there. I wish I was there. I think I'll be there one day on the 3rd, maybe. I say we'll have lunch. I'll message you on Riot.
Okay, awesome.
Are you staying at the house? You're staying at the house, yeah?
I'll drop by. I think I'm gonna stay with some friends, but,
Oh,
but
cool,
I'll
cool.
drop
All right.
by for
I
sure.
was just gonna say if you need a place to stay, of course.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or a work spot, you know, amazing internet, nice.
Yeah, work for sure. Yes, I'm
Or
gonna
a
spend a few
pool.
hours there
Where
for
do
sure.
you need the pool? We now have
Oh, pool! I've seen the pool. I've seen the picture.
Thanks to that, Lion.
Woo!
Cool. Well, any other thoughts on this advice process / constitution?
Oh, it's all coming together.
I have one thing that might be helping us with this. I see this mentioned all the time. What is our purpose? Maybe it helps to see our purpose, like not us, but I often try to imagine what giveth is. Like if I really go into this thing that there might be DAOs, you know, and they just like develop like this mind of their own. I'm just saying there could be like one, we could not think of like what drives us, but what should drive Giveth. So how can we help Giveth with its purpose?
Yeah. Yeah, this kind of goes into Chris's manifesto, right?
Yeah.
I totally agree.
I love the time
we
you
should.
that, man.
Yeah, sorry about this.
Oh man, no, I wish there were more. We should have time music playing every meeting. This is background music. Cool. Well, any other thoughts on the advice process? Anyone else have list that he's working on? Constitution? Okay. I guess not. So then, is Wojtek still here? No? Okay. Wojtek, are you there? Are you there? Okay. Well, I guess anyone else have any other topics? There was this Adria pushing the launch to mainnet, but I don't know. Oh, Yaler, you were there. You want to talk about that?
It's already on mainnet. The original deployment is still there, right?
Yeah, and why are you laughing? So well, let's use that.
Technicality. Yeah, Adria wants to put money into his friend's NGO, and he's really pushing. And he says he's gonna fork Giveth if he can't do it by July 1st. So maybe a little joke, but we were thinking like we were talking about onboarding. We were talking about this process, and like I mean, Adria feels very strongly that we need to get a donor who's willing to maybe lose their money to start the process to get feedback and stuff. And he was like, I'll be the donor. I have a friend who needs this, and like I'll provide support with them. And I was like, wow, I don't think it's any better. We're no better aligned to like take money from him and try to facilitate it to this NGO that he's going to then provide support for. And he wanted to do that like soon. And so we were sitting with Wojtek and stuff, and Wojtek maybe has some things to say about it, but I think the general consensus was like, I think actually Wojtek wanted to talk with you, RJ, first before like it was a super thumbs up. But he was thinking like once DApp's live on mainnet, let's let him do it.
I mean, let me just say, I think that should be the way we onboard people. It should be, oh, hey, do we have people begging to give you donations? Okay, well then, because it's like, you know, Giveth needs to be like a place where people are winning, you know, not where people are like asking for money and never getting it. You know, that would suck.
No, I totally agree. So I think if we feel good about that and we're ready to do it, and it's like, all right, cool, like, you know, it's kind of like another closed beta launch thing, and we have this small NGO. He's got some project that's happening in August that he said it would be great if he could get them the funds by August. Or try.
It's feasible to me. I mean, probably mid-July. Like we just use it for 1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, like, I mean, even if it's just him donating to it, and he's like doesn't care if he loses it, right? Like he could start when we start.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a very valuable thing because Adria is very much suited for this thing. He knows the depth, and you know, he's a perfect first user. That's not totally in the inner core because he's like this rogue guy and floating around, but perfect. That's in the most positive way. I love him, of course.
And Chris was a big supporter of this as well, so it feels like we have team buy-in for this.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's the main thing is that the unicorns and like the people who help build the dApp get to use it first, right? Like, I mean, hopefully we'll create issues in GitHub when we find the bugs. Okay. Well, yeah. Any other? Does anyone else have any other topics to talk about? We still have 11 minutes technically. I was going to say on the Adria thing, he could just create a leaderboard.
Create a what?
A leaderboard. You know, it's not as fun, but I'm just throwing it out there.
He wants it on the dApp.
Why is it not fun?
Well, it's not fun.
Nothing personal, Kai.
If people have a reason why they say it. No.
Only to say the dApp is fun, you know? The leaderboard is just like, you know, everyone can have a leaderboard.
Yeah, everybody will be able to have leaderboards very soon. I talked to Dean today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you want to talk about do you want to mention, I don't know if everyone knows about your leaderboard project. Or what do you call it?
My Ethereum space. A better name.
What happened to MySpace?
Well, that's just too far out there. It might have been too much of the influence there while making the naming. But no, really, like MySpace is not. But so what we want to do is like have this leaderboard kind of thing for every address that's on Ethereum. So kind of like a normal block explorer like Etherscan. You put in an address and it spits out like this transaction list. Imagine something like Etherscan where you put in your address and then it spits out not your incoming transactions and your outgoing, but your address as a leaderboard view. And if it's your address, you can sign in MetaMask that it's your address, and then you get to edit like a content page that's above the leaderboard. Like so you can make an address to run a campaign, you can make an address to, you know, for your whatever. Like you can de-anonymize your address and you can start running campaigns. Yeah. From my Ethereum space. The idea is to marry something like MySpace. In this time and age, it's more like something like Tumblr, maybe, and the leaderboard. And I think it would enable people to use their Ethereum addresses in a fun way, which could be very good.
I think it sounds like a good idea. I mean, everyone's making all these leaderboards. It's like, wouldn't it be nice if it was already just made for them?
I mean, it's great now that like Deppline just rewrote it for Web3, and like we just lost the ability to use it on every address. We can now use it only on if we have some specific contracts deployed or a general Gnosis multisig. Otherwise, the address won't get checked. But it's just a matter of time. I think this buys us great time to develop this as long as Open Block Explorers are not ready. And it is for sure a social coding project, and it's one of those things we really want to have there for the hackathon. And it's very interesting to people. Like Deem is very much in love with the concept, and he will actually, it's the next update. I talked to Deem before, so the Wall of Fame should be out there very soon. I mean, he promised tomorrow, which is probably not realistic, but getting closer.
Any updates on that hackathon since that was mentioned?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, me and Kai were just mapping it out a little bit. We are setting dates to open up submissions July 15th. We'll be doing 3 weeks of open kind of promoting, letting people in, talking to teams, and talking about projects, providing support through the Social Coding Circle. We have ChainShot going to be doing the educational component, so I'm really excited to connect with those guys. Some conversation that Kai and I have been kind of going back and forth on is how to reward contributors. Do we want to do a bounty system? Is there a way that we can fund those bounties while they're happening in real time? Because Kai hates spec work, and I don't blame him.
It's an interesting, so that's actually why it would be interesting to discuss this a little, is I am against this notion of having like a grand prize or like having 2 grand prizes or 3 for maybe like 20 teams that are coming. I think we should set up bounties and have like funding rounds every 2 weeks where we fund those bounties on the most favorite projects. So they get already they don't get the money, but they know that they will at some point, you know, when the hackathon closes, at least take this money home. I think it's way more motivating than working 2 months for a spec, you know, for a grand prize that might or not be awarded to you.
Hey guys, I'm wondering, would it be good to? Sometimes I'm dubious about giving people money, you know, especially when it's like that much. I mean, I thought it was really cool at the Toronto thing where they gave everyone like a little piece. That way, everyone got something. I don't like first place, second place only things. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, great, you got, you know, a quarter of an ETH, you know, for your time. It doesn't really give us. It doesn't do anything for Give It. So like on a selfish note, I wonder if there's like a prize that is in between that and like giving them our T-shirt. Like, what if the prizes were like, oh yeah, we'll pay for your ticket to our next conference? You know, we try, and then it's like, oh great, now you're coming to work for us. Like we're basically rewarding you to give you more of a chance to work with us, to meet other people within the space, which honestly I think is better than giving people.
Yeah, I mean, Kai was actually talking about if we can get in touch with the Ethereum Foundation to see if maybe they would sponsor some DevCon tickets for people.
Look at this. He was at DevCon.
That would actually be an exciting thing, right? And it would be an opportunity for them once again to come into the more inner circle in the Ethereum space, to meet a bunch of people and have great opportunities. That, at the core, is what I believe this hackathon is going to be all about, is bringing people in and connecting them with teams for opportunities. It's not, and this is what me and Quasio talked about, Oz, is that the money we're giving them, if we're giving bounties, we only have 20 ETH right now, right? So if we start chipping away at that 20 ETH and we're like, okay, quarter here, quarter there on a 4 times, it's like, it's not that much, right? It's like, 100, a couple hundred, whatever. And it really, like, I need another, if we're going to do a bounty program, I needed like another 10K from like the Ethereum Foundation, Ethereum Community Fund, from Status, someone. Like, if anyone knows anyone, put me in touch with them. I put out a few grant requests, but we'll see if it comes through in time. But yeah, I really do like that. And maybe we can come up with like figuring out a way to reward people by bringing them actually more into the space, or bring them to an event to hang out with us and make them wear all our crazy T-shirts and shit.
Which brings me to another interesting option. We always have these like internal team meetings around big conferences, and for sure DevCon will be one. So maybe we should organize to like end this hackathon like a little pre-conference for DevCon with Status, Aragon, Swarm City, and Give It, and Change.
Pre-conference?
A pre-conference. We usually meet. Like we
somewhere in a place.
No, in Prague.
Oh, okay.
Like
so have them hang out with us
before maybe,
before DevCon. Okay, that could definitely be.
I'm just asking, like, if we, that's the thing, we have to plan for quite some time there.
Yeah, I like that idea, and maybe for someone that's like doesn't score very high, it's like they don't get like a ticket to DevCon or a DevCon ticket, but they get access to this like pre-conference. I have to take off, but I just wanted to say that, like, yeah, I love all of this. I think that social coding really should just be teaching people, you know, and it's like if we could make a deal with DevCon and be like, listen, you know, free tickets, or maybe we could just match, you know, be like, hey, something, I don't know, Kai always has the best ideas when it comes to like sponsoring, getting sponsors from people. So I just want to give my wholehearted support and approval to this, I guess, before I take off. But it was wonderful to see you all.
Thanks. Actually, I think we should just close it out, guys. It's 10 o'clock, so almost 10 o'clock here. So, thank you for hanging out. It was good. I'm going to definitely reach out for sponsors for that hackathon in the Communities of Communities channel, which, Taylor, if you send me your Telegram I will add you to that channel. You will love that channel.
Love Telegram. Trying to get as many rooms in Telegram as I have in Riot. We'll get there.
We'll do the quick round. Yeller?
I'm great. Thanks for being here. Sorry we were late, but I think it worked out well. Excited to see these projects move forward. Choose Kai.
It's so great that I got Yeller to attend the governance meeting. And thanks for the meeting. Yeah, but what's nice? Was it a governance meeting or a fireside chat? But I like the mixture, and I give it to Lindsay.
Hey guys, yeah, if you ever want to tie any of these hackathons into like future events, like being in the castle or some other like prize, like these are things that we should totally talk about. Because I've been thinking about them a lot. So yeah, call me, and I'll pass it on to RJ.
Hey guys, yeah, it's good catching up with everybody. Yeah, we'll see you guys later. Who else? Wojtek, you want to say goodbye?
We lost ages ago. I will stop the stream now.
Oh, who's the fellow Jitster? There's one fellow Jitster. But anyways.
But
Okay.